appreciate everybody coming. And, you know, as we wrap up our Kent State game and watching the film, I put them, as I talk to teams, I put them in two boxes, the game. The first box is I thought we played with the effort, heart, you know, belief that you want your team to play with every Saturday. And so we want to capture that each week. All right. And the other box, I didn't believe we played with the discipline, poise, or execution you need to play with to win every Saturday, particularly in a rivalry game. You know, because one of the things we talked about was the emotions of the game and not letting it get the best of you. So 10 penalties is way too much, and certainly some of the penalties that occurred in that game. So we have to keep this box over here, okay, and we have to move the things over. We have to play with more discipline, more execution, and more poise in the course of a game.
How much of that is really the officials? It
Pardon?
looked like they were overly
I didn't think
sensitive
we were,
to
23 penalties.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it just seemed like they were, I don't want to say looking for stuff, but it seemed like they were trying to be overly sensitive to the fact that it was a rivalry game, and so anything they could throw, they did throw.
Yeah, there was only one, probably, you know, one penalty in the game that was called on us that I could go back and say, I really don't think that was even close. Mm-hmm. But, you know, they called it the same for both teams. And so we both had to play through the same set of rules and on that day. So as we look back at the disappointment of that game, which we are, and I look back at the positive things to take out of that game, and we need to manifest that. And as we move forward to a second half of the season, which we have 6 games, you know, 6 games left on the docket, and we've got a lot of football left to play, and a lot of good things can happen to us here as a program and as a team. And the best thing about Monday is a chance to get back on the practice field with the guys and to get out there and work and start moving forward as we get ready for a very good Ohio U team that, as you watch on tape, is just what you would think a Frank Solich team is. It's well coached, it's fundamentally sound, they play disciplined, and they play very physical. And we're going to have to do a great job of getting ourselves ready to play. And it's a whole different style of offense than we've played probably this year. And so we're going to have to really have a tall task on our hands to make sure we're prepared to execute, to move it into the box to the right, to execute better in all phases.
That being said, I'll
open it up for questions now. Tom Gaffney from the Akron Beacon Journal.
Jumped in. Not speaking for Elton. How do they use the 2 quarterbacks? I don't understand how.
Well, last week was the first week I think Bates was back after being injured. Last week they played them both at times in the game in a package. Then they just altered him. There's no. We've tried through statistical analysis to see is there something they run with one quarterback, and something they run with a different, and we really have come up with nothing that would give us any indication of that. They're both very good. They both show good leadership. I know Boo has really done a nice job for their team, and Boo Jackson, and nice job for their team when he played in 08. Really nice job so far this year. They obviously have a lot of belief in him, Phil Bates does a really good job also, and he's leading their team in rushing, and he's missed 2 games, and that speaks a lot for his abilities.
How do you translate to the team? You know, you've had good halves. You've been in games up through the 3rd quarter. Last week, 3 minutes to play. You're right there. How do you say, hey, the gap is closing? We're getting. Do you translate?
That's exactly what I say to them. I said it's close. I says, you guys know we're close. I know we're close. It's right there in front of you. It's close. So now's the time to just keep, for lack of coach speak, keep it on. You know, stay with the plan, stay with the process, keep pressing to get better. Don't press, but keep pressing to get better. And that's what I say to them as we go through, because it's right there in front of us, and it's going to happen as we go through this. We're going to get over that crescendo, and what happens with anything is the first win is the hardest, and then after that you break the dam and you keep moving through it, and that's what we're looking to do, and as a team. But we are close. But now if we execute better, we move this thing over here, and we execute better, which we have to do across the board, then we'll see the fruits of that labor.
Just out of curiosity, have you talked to Pat and say, hey, just walk me through this play, tell me what you see, what you did?
You know, I do at times. I meet with him myself once a week. Ron does it consistently with Patrick. Patrick was in here. I mean, bright and early Sunday morning, which is what you want to see. He came in on his own, was sitting in the room watching the game himself to try to learn from it.
Not so much to lash the whip,
Right.
but just out of curiosity, I'd be curious.
We do that. We do that.
But
More so, I think
is
it's
that later in the week or?
no. That was Monday. So that was a Sunday-Monday process. Now, as we go through the week and prepare for Ohio U, it's more about, okay, as we practice on Tuesday and we watch tape on Wednesday, what are you seeing in this play against, as we prepare to play this game?
Did he share anything with you?
Yeah, a few things that he goes through.
Hey, I felt this or I saw this.
Yeah, and then when we watched the tape in depth, when I came in Sunday morning, I spent 3 hours on the offensive tape, which is the longest I've spent on a Sunday on a tape, on every single position, on every single play, which I do anyway. But I really, held it up and hit that rewind button several times just to try to see what he was seeing, try to see what our team was doing, how we were playing, and it was an unfortunate at times in the game across the board breakdowns. It wasn't, as I said to the coaching staff on Sunday, we can't just say the quarterback. All right, we had protection issues which involved linemen and backs. Okay, we had issues times when maybe sure he could have stepped up instead of flushed. There were all those involved in there, and Patrick does know, as any player would know, that ball security is a premium here, and when you don't have great ball security, you're really putting yourself in a tough situation.
How much of that play was an aberration, and how much of it was an accumulation?
Which play?
The fumble.
The last play?
Yeah, no, what you would call the last
3 minutes.
Last play with 3 minutes.
The deciding play, essentially.
Yeah, the deciding play. How much of it was an aberration of man, it just blew up, or how much of it was an accumulation of the whole game with?
I felt like on that play there was a free rusher to the quarterback, and which forced him down to come up, and then which then allowed somebody else to kind of get their hand on the ball and it to come out. That's how I saw the play.
Just curious.
Yeah.
I think you covered this in the conference call yesterday, which I didn't hear, but was there discussion about?
But how do you know I covered it?
Well, because I saw something written about
Okay.
it today. So I do read, I just don't.
Listen,
Absorb.
I don't absorb. Was there discussion about challenging that, or?
I did not believe that he was down. I thought the ball was clearly out, and people I'm talking to in the booth thought that. And then when I watched it on tape, I thought the ball was out. The scrum was when it was on the ground. But the official came right in with the spot, the referee, and said he had it, and looked like there was no hesitation to him whatsoever who had the ball. And the thing is, just don't let it come out.
did you see it come out on film?
On film, you see it come out. Yes.
When it comes to Patrick, and his history, I mean, ideally he should have redshirted last year, and he ends up starting, switching systems and everything. I mean, has that put him? I mean, by all rights, he should be like a redshirt freshman right now.
Sure, he should.
But
by all rights, he's also had 6 games of starting experience last year, which should have benefited him greatly coming into a season to play as a sophomore.